Okay, so you have clicked on this video because you're looking to see if somebody on YouTube has the petsafe automatic feeder and you want to see how the thing works before you actually go out and buy one, and that's where I come in. So I put this little video together for you because I want to show you how this thing works and how really great it is. Now here's the dilemma that I've had for a lot of years, and I'll just do a quick little intro spiel to kind of guide you through my thought process of picking this thing up. Whenever I would go on a trip, I always had to arrange getting somebody to take care of my dogs, feed the dogs, take them to a kennel, and a whole bunch of logistics involved with that. And honestly, it kind of ties you down a little bit. You want to get out of town, but you got to think about your pets, because sometimes you can't always take your pets with you, or it's just not feasible or whatever. So I researched around a little bit and I looked at automatic feeders, and there were some that were better than others in my opinion, and I settled on this unit, and I'm going to lift it up so you can see. This is the unit that you've probably looked at that you're wanting to see, and I've got two of them because I've got two dogs, and I'll do a little cutaway here in a second, and I'm going to show you the way I set mine up when I take off. So I got them. It's very intuitive when you set these things up. There's a little app that you put onto your phone, and it basically shows the unit on your phone, shows it if it's online or offline. I just turned this one on. I've got it plugged in. Also has battery backup. You've probably researched this. And without getting too rambling, too off the track, I'll just tell you that it's very intuitive. Like I said, you can really you don't have to do a whole lot in order to get this thing running. You just kind of open it up, take the little instruction book out, and it shows you some pictures, and it's really straightforward. It's just not a lot to it, and it's great because it allows you to set and program your feed schedules, set it up, and take off. So I'm going to orient you to the machine itself, and we're going to go over some of the basic
what
features.
I have
Here is I've got a little wood platform that I built for the thing out of some 2x6s, and the reason I did it is I wanted to give this a nice stable footing for the unit to set on. And then I've got these little rings, these little eyelets screwed into the side, and what I do is I take a bungee cord and I put one through that, and I take one up over the top, and then I hook it in to the other side. Makes the thing very stable, can't be knocked over. You don't want the dogs getting into this thing and knocking it over, so you can hit this thing a little bit and it's not going to fall over. So when you turn the unit on, this little light on the priming button is going to illuminate. It's hard to see when you're outside, so if you want to test it, just bring it in your house. Then you're going to open up the little reservoir. I've just got a piece of duct tape on there. It shows this as unit number 2. I'm going to put some dog food inside here, and I'm just going to run a cycle through it. Okay, now in order to prime it, I can either do this through my phone, through the phone app, or I can just do it with the button on top. I'll just use the button on top since I'm right here. So hit that. And it's going to run it through its little prime cycle. So obviously nothing happened, right? Because it's still priming. So let's hit it again. Okay, so it's still working. And as I'm doing this, it's sending a notification to my phone telling me my pet has been fed. Obviously my pet hasn't been fed. I'm just priming the system. Okay, now the system is primed. So now we're ready to actually run a cycle. So I'm going to go to my phone, and I'm going to grab my reading glasses. Okay, so I got to tell you, just as I shut off the camera to go get my reading glasses, the clock just struck 12 o'clock noon. I have this unit scheduled to do a feeding at noon, and it did exactly that. So it just ran a cup of food. But I want to show you, again, what that looks like. So I'll go to my app. It's my petsafe app right here on my phone, and it's going to bring up the unit, shows it as online. It's feeder number 2. I'm going to hit the feed button, and it's going to bring me, hit it again, bringing me up an option. I can do an amount of my choosing. I can do 1/8 of a cup for like a little snack, or I can prime it with 5/8 of a cup. So let's go other amount, and let's do 4 cups is a lot. We'll do 2 cups. So it's set for 2 cups and a little bar scale. Hit feed now. And there it goes. And this is what it does. So when you're away and you've got it set on the schedule, it's going to do exactly this. You've probably seen this, and yeah, I just wanted to show you how really great this is. Really, it gives you a lot of flexibility, the ability to leave home and the ability to leave your pets relatively unattended. Unit itself can hold roughly 24 cups of food. I'm thinking you can probably get about 7-8 days max, and that's if you're doing lighter feedings. I typically feed my guys 3 times a day, 1 cup on each feeding, so they get about 3 cups. They're a lot older, so they don't need a lot of food, and this works great. So now, when it did its automatic feed at noon, it put 1 cup in, so there's actually 3 cups sitting in there. So that's about what 3 cups is going to look like in your bowl. So what I'll do is I'll put this back into the reservoir and go back to my app on my phone, and let's do other amount. We'll run it down to 1 cup. Actually, let's do a half cup, see what that looks like. So I got it set for half cup. I'm gonna hit the feed now button. There it goes. And there's about a half a cup of food. It's really great. You're going to want to kind of experiment with it. Some foods may measure out differently depending on the size of the kibble and things like that. But it's fairly accurate. I've actually taken the food out and measured it into a cup, and it's pretty darn right on. Okay, so that is it in a nutshell. Now, like I said, it's got a battery backup, so when you have the unit programmed for its schedule, which this one does, and it obviously ran at its programmed time, you can lose power. You won't be able to access it through your phone, but the unit will still run on the schedule. So if you're gone, you know, for a couple days, the power goes out, it's still gonna run. You just won't be able to access it through your phone. Now, the unit has a specific MAC physical address. So no matter where you're at on any given network, your phone is gonna find the device. Granted that you have Wi-Fi in your house and it's turned on and it's up and running. So let's say I leave the Seattle area and I go to New York City. I've got the unit set up in my backyard and I'm somewhere in New York and I'm thinking I want to give my pets a snack. I pull up the app, hit the snack button, goes through the variety of networks, finds my unit through my Wi-Fi on my home network, and it activates the snack feature that I've pushed on my phone. Really, that's about it. Kind of nice. So that is really it in a nutshell. It's a great system. I think you should probably get one of these if you're somebody who wants to leave your pet at home for maybe an extended period of time, but you don't want to have somebody come over, or you don't want to take them to a kennel. It's a pretty nice option. I think I paid about a little over $100 per unit. They're a little on the spendy side, but it's I think it's really worth it. And again, if you're worried about your dog or dogs getting into the unit, build yourself a little platform, grab yourself a little bungee cord like this, hook it over the top, and you've got yourself a nice stable platform. And you may have to adjust it a little bit. Get that bungee right on the center there. There, see that's not going anywhere. What's the other thing I can tell you? This is something I really need to mention. There's 2 little clips on the side. You unclip these, it pulls the reservoir off. You've got to empty the reservoir before you pull it off. I learned this the hard way. I pulled it off and all the contents of the reservoir went down inside the system. That's just one thing you're gonna have to be careful with. Well, I didn't read the instructions. I just went in and started playing with it. Again, these things are relatively intuitive. It wasn't a big deal to clean it out, but just keep that in mind if you get one. Empty it out before you pull the reservoir. You can clean everything. Run these through the dishwasher. You can, take some soapy water and clean the oil residue off the inside of it, because dog food obviously has a lot of oil on it. Yeah, these things are really great. Hopefully this was adequate for you. I think you'll really enjoy it. I love it. Really frees me up. So I don't feel as anchored anymore. If I need to go take a trip somewhere, I can just put these things out, give the dog some love, and say, see you guys in a couple days, come home, and I can monitor it on my phone. And every time it feeds on the automatic cycle, it's going to tell you. It's going to say it just fed whatever your predetermined feeding ratio was. And then again, if you want to do a snack for your pet, you just bring up the app, hit snack, gives them a snack. Kind of cool. Okay, technology's nice. Really makes things pretty easy these days. Thanks for watching. Sorry this wasn't a super fancy one of my typical edited videos, but I just wanted to do something nice down and dirty for you. Have a good day. See you guys in my next video.